Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Kathy and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you a couple of updates and sharing with you a couple of lessons I've learned over the last year. So we can all agree that 2020 was very unexpected in many ways. You know, there's a lot of world changes, and in my life, I had a lot of personal changes. To give you a bit of a background, in 2019, I was working as a professional engineer as an outside account manager in the construction waterworks industry. I was newly married and lived with my husband Chris in Northwest Edmonton. I drove a nice Honda Ridgeline truck, and I was pretty all right with my life, okay? And now, being the end of 2020, I am living in my aunt's basement in Vancouver, recently separated, and I take transit, ride my bike, and I am currently not working, but starting a business, and I'm actually happier than I was in 2019. And it's not like to say I regret anything in 2019 or didn't value any of it. I just realized that things that helped me, that served me in the past, didn't really quite fit for my life anymore. So this is why I had to make the changes, and I'm here to share with you lessons and beliefs that I had to really adopt and the beliefs I had to let go of to get me to where I am today. All right. So if you ask my 20-year-old self what I thought my life would be like when I'm 30-something, I would have said, I would have been married, have kids, have a nice house, working my way to the top of an engineering firm, and work on really cool projects, right? And at the time, that was what my definition of success was. And I realized that life doesn't have to look a certain way, and even though that might work for some people, that vision of success is not a one-size-fits-all. And I think a lot of people are realizing that and really understanding themselves and knowing that happiness can look many different ways. So that brings me to my first lesson, which is letting go of attachment. And I know I mentioned this before, but I feel like letting go of attachment is an ongoing thing. As long as we have an ego, we always have expectations. But once we can identify, what our expectations are and see, okay, does this serve us anymore? We can understand whether or not we want to keep them in our lives or not. So there's nothing wrong with having expectations. It's more just like understanding why you have them and if it fits a current situation. So, my younger self would have been, oh, this is what happiness looks like. And now, it's not what fits for me. I can let those go and then redefine a new idea of happiness or new ideas of success or new ideas of my life. And I think this whole year we had to let go of old ideas, old beliefs to really understand what is important to us. And I think moving forward, we're really moving in a direction where we can establish new structures, new expectations to reframe what happiness would look like for each individual person. It's not easy, and I might do another video of like how to let go of attachment, because sometimes I'm so strongly identified with certain things. Like I was like, oh, like I drive this truck, or my job is this, and I held my identity within it. However, when I'm able to slowly let go of my attachment to it, I can see, okay, my value is not within those particular items or status things. I can just allow myself to be and create something new. When I say letting go of attachment, it also means letting go of old ideals that no longer serve you. So the one belief I had to let go of was I have to do everything on my own. And I had this belief ever since I was a young child because my parents are divorced. I did a lot of things on my own, and I was very proud of it. And people would say like, wow, like you did that all by yourself. I'm like, yes, I did. However, part of me, was proud, but also part of me was very isolated, right? And this year I had to let go of that. And where that really showed up was when I moved to Vancouver. And I thought, okay, I'm just gonna put everything into a van, drive here myself, and spend a whole month setting everything up. As I was telling my friends this, they said, well, Kathy, like, can we help you? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. This is weird. They're like, let us go with you. And I was like, oh, fine. And honestly, that weekend turned out to be so amazing. Very tiring still, like waiting in line at IKEA, going to HomeSense and checking out all the different places. But my place is so much more beautiful, well organized. I don't know, and when I think about it and when I look around, I'm so happy because I know it's my friends who helped me put this together. So I always cherish them very much, and just allowing them to help me was such a big deal. So that's actually my second lesson, is to allow. And there's some things we can't control. So, I try to like make things happen all the time, but in this situation, I was able to allow their help, allow support. I essentially allowed myself to be vulnerable and accept their help. And as I continued to practice allowing, I started noticing that I allowed myself to think thoughts that I previously rejected. This is what I mean. Then also recognizing that you can allow dissatisfaction to come up. And that might kind of sound weird, where I've always tried to look on the bright side of things. I tried to be positive, almost to a point where it was like toxic positivity, where it's like, no, I'm not gonna look at any of the negative things. I'm gonna just try to be positive and like look for the bright side, right? And that could actually be damaging, because I just denied everything I was unhappy with, right? Like my job or my like friendships or certain relationships, I was just like, there's some things I'm not happy about. And I didn't look at that, because I avoid conflict like the plague. I'm like, oh, I hate talking about arguments or differences or conflicts. Like, again, past childhood trauma of like fights. I'm like, fight means like everything's disrupt and explode and everyone's gonna be left alone, right? Anyways, I thought that fights were bad and dissatisfaction was bad. And with this lesson of allowing myself to recognize what I'm dissatisfied about, I was able to really see I wasn't happy with a lot of things. Like at my job, someone would ask me like, do you like your role? And I'd be like, yeah, it's great. And I would like explain and like try to convince them, but I was also trying to convince myself that I really liked my role. And there was great things I enjoyed about it, but there was things I didn't like about it that I wasn't owning up to. And talking to one of my friends, she's like, yeah, like recognize it, because problems are a good thing, because this is where you can have a mutual benefit and really improve your relationship if you can talk about things that you're not happy with. And a part of me was always scared, because I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to worry or hurt people or say something. But my friend had the understanding that if you really cared about someone, you're able to know that you're friends regardless of the differences you have or the things that you don't agree on. And that was such an eye-opener for me, to allow myself to recognize dissatisfaction within my life. So that leads me to my next lesson, which is awareness. So the more I was able to recognize my own dissatisfaction and be more aware of what I enjoyed and what I didn't enjoy, I can further state that in my conversations. And having this awareness takes a lot of work, because a lot of times it's from our past situations and we bring it into our current life, and we expect our current situation to solve it up, right? But that doesn't happen, right? So I have to own up the things that I was repeating in my life, recognize what I was good at and what I needed help on. And I know they always say like, what are your strengths and weaknesses, right? And then you have that in your conversation at work or your job interview one time, and then that's it. But I guess if you take time to recognize qualities like Myers-Briggs, Enneagrams, I'm going to do a video on those later. I love those. I was obsessed with them. But just recognizing that those qualities within yourself will help you understand yourself better and help us understand others better for more harmonious relationships. Awareness is like an ongoing thing, right? I'm continually checking in with myself to see, okay, how am I doing? With awareness, I actually got a counselor. I don't know how to say this. I just got a counselor. I just said it. I got a counselor about a month ago, and she has been so awesome in helping me gain better awareness of myself, like emotional awareness, just my whole mental self. There's things I try to do on my own, again, the independence thing, like read books and like self-help, but really the counselor can help you see things that you might not have been aware of. And she helped me get over a lot of grief, a lot of issues that I've had in the past. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I was carrying these, right? I highly recommend it. It's almost like, you go to the gym, you work out, you can watch videos and stuff. However, if you get a trainer, you can laser in your training like fast and you get more results, and you're not just fumbling along with life, right? And that's kind of how I feel like I am doing sometimes, right? So having someone to give you professional counsel is like so valuable, and I highly recommend it. There's cheap options online as well. But yeah, just once in a while, like just check in and like, okay, what am I repeating in my current life? And it'll help you have more open and more positive relationships, even to have these conversations, right? So with that awareness, you can powerfully choose how you want to evolve instead of letting your past kind of recreate patterns in your life all the time. you haven't noticed, the lessons for this video all start with the letter A. All right, I have this awareness that our life is constantly evolving, constantly growing. And, you know, my younger self would have thought, okay, like she's made it if, you know, I've had all like these items and like that's it and she's like set for life. But I think that's also an illusion because you never really like make it, like you can make it in terms of your goal, but you know, your life doesn't just end there. You don't just die like this is it. It's, you know, you can reach your goal and like, okay, this is great. And then you continue to evolve after that. And you as a person, you might have these items, you know, defined as your standards of what success or happiness would look like. But know that they're just temporary in a sense as well. Like, even though they might be in your life for a long time or a short amount of time, you know, we're all growing and evolving. Things come and go in and out of our lives, right? And one realization I had around this was, what if all of our lives were like flowers? You know, you're a beautiful flower, I'm a beautiful flower. And as we grow, we evolve and slowly bloom into our truest nature, our truest self. And you never look at a flower and say like, and you know, like rip it open and be like, why don't you grow faster? It's beautiful where it is, right? And I just had this realization where I'm just like, you know, why don't I just appreciate where I am and not judge and compare and be present and be more present with my life. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much for your time. I'm grateful that you wanted to check in to see how I'm doing. I feel more content, more connected, and I know some great things are on the horizon for me, and I'm really blessed to share them with you. Thank you. So if you're watching this part of the video, it means you're one of the few who watches it until the very end. I just want to give you a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you have any comments or questions, I love to hear them. And if you haven't done so already, you can hit that like or subscribe button. It means so much to me. Much love. Bye.